Guy, there's a contract with sign that we are in Azimio. Where exactly do you fall? You cannot just walk out as you wish. So then the question is it political loyalty? Is it coalition for 2027? Where do we fall?
Those are the questions that we'll be asking this morning, and we'll be looking into some of these things. He's a member of the ODM Youth League, and his name is Jayed Oye, and he joins us this morning. Jayed, good morning.
Good morning, Ndoko.
Ndu.
Oko. Yes.
People have tried to baptize me this week, but we are not boarding that train.
No.
But we thank you for being here this morning. Let's look into today's proverb. Dennis is going to share that with you.
A proverb comes from Botswana. Yeah, the land of diamonds that is invested back into education. The 70% of the land is desert. But also, if you want to go enjoy it and have a time swim in the dunes, you can do that. Because they have turned that to be a tourist attraction that is actually helping them have some money that they would invest back into the economy. But let's go to the proverb, eh? A tree is known by its fruits. A tree is known by its fruits. How would you interpret that? What do you think the Tswana people are telling us?
A tree is known by its fruits.
Yes.
I think I'll take it in this perspective. An individual is known by deeds. A person will be defined by what he says and the position that he takes. So I think there's a very close proverb as well that a fruit does not fall far off from the tree. So an individual can be defined by the deeds and maybe their positions.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, for sure, it's kind of straightforward, that one, and how you apply it is also just as important. You're a member of the ODM Youth League. Okay, tell us, as the ODM Youth League, what do you see as what is happening currently? How does the ODM Youth League take, because quite a number of people in that youth league in terms of numbers, how do you see what's going on? Because remember, the future of the party and party politics falls on the shoulders of the young ones.
Yes, thank you very much, Dennis and Ndu. On the ODM Youth League, as you put it, there's a party that I think since its interception in 2007 has been in a good position to have young people. And young people have been the fulcrum of this political party, ODM. And I think it will not go without saying that this is the only party with a proper structured leadership of the Youth League, not only the mainstream, from the polling station. And me sitting here today, I'm a delegate. That's from my polling station in Multimedia. That comes to the award in Karen and then to the constituency Langata and then to the county of Nairobi. Youth League, where we are today, being that we are the fulcrum and we are the backbone of the political party that feels it and also hold it so dear and close to the young people. The positions that we are having and the conversion that is in the country, the voice of the youths must be captured. And our position, I think, as young people in these political parties is also very important. We remember the most recent when we had the Gen Z protest in 2024. When the young people said that they were partyless, which of course we were asking ourselves, we are going to be partyless, and these parties are where the programs, the manifestos that run the country are being made. We, the young people from the ODM party, when we were making the Azimio La Umoja coalition, the young people from the political parties then in that alliance were consulted and their voices were captured in the making of that manifesto. In today's discourse, where we are towards 2027, the young people from the ODM party, I think, we haven't given our official position, but there are functions and their position that the mainstream are taking, the Women League may be taking, the PWDs, the Walemavu in the political party may be taking. We haven't given our position, we are still learning and trying to get the tide and get the best bearing for the generation and the party.
One asks the question then, if at the moment the discourse that is happening, especially between the merger ODM, UDA towards 2027 election, and also read that together with other positions within the party, that retired honorable, the late Raila Odinga, said, we are here until 2027 and ODM would be able to take the position. If these positions are being made right now, everyone is pulling on their side without consultation, consulting pretty much other party members. Where does that leave ODM? Is ODM as united as it was before? Was it held together by the glue that was Raila Odinga, and without Raila Odinga, ODM ceases to exist?
But even the manifesto, the ideology, the principles that the ODM subscribed to. On the Discord that is there, as you are saying, there are those who are maybe pulling, each function is trying to pull on their side. From the ODM Youth League, where we are, and the convention that we are trying to have, there's nothing that is barring ODM party fielding a presidential candidate. There's nothing, again, where we are, preventing ODM having a post-election agreement with either of the side that may form the government. There's nothing, again, preventing ODM come 2027, forcing maybe a rerun if in case either of the sides may fail to get 50+1. With this, why are we hurrying from the party ODM into signing a pre-election agreement? There's a chance for ODM to field presidential candidates. Since 2007, ODM have never failed to have a presidential candidate on the ballot. It is the first time that we are also worried. Because following the latest utterances from the PL, Dr. Oburu Oginga Odinga, that we don't need presidency that is the president and the deputy. This left us, the young people, asking ourselves tough questions. But where are we? Because we're also seeing ODM post 2027. There are those today, I'll tell you where we are here, that there are those who are serving their second terms. That is the governors. Then there are those who have served all the positions. There have been governors, there have been MPs, there have been CSs. At some point, we feel that maybe they're on their political sunset days. They don't have any more ambitions. But we, the young people from the ODM party, are asking ourselves, because we are looking ODM as the future, beyond 2027, 2032, 2037, where are we going to be? We must have a conversation. And we, from the ODM Youth League, we have a greater feeling that there's nothing barring this party ODM from fielding a presidential candidate. And there's nothing, again, we're not going to seeing into the 2-term, 1-term. The term that the league need to have is a development term. The term that the league is trying to push. There's an agenda that was signed, that is the last signature of Raila Amolo Odinga, was on the 10-point agenda. The greatest term that we need to honor is honoring that last signature that Raila Amolo Odinga left for us. And I think on the last, the latest utterances from our ASG was on the same. But let us first honor. How will we entrust getting into a coalition with those who can't honor the already existing agreement between us?
What is the agreement, Jared?
On the 10-point agenda.
So what you're telling us now is that ODM youth are very, very serious about this 10-point agenda.
We are very serious on the 10-point agenda. Because again, Ndu, let us be realistic with each other here. If the Kenya Kwanza and UDA, to be very specific, can't honor and can't be able to honor the last signature on the 10-point agenda that we had and the full implementation of the NADCO report, how will they honor the post-election or the pre-election agreement? Remember, this will be on the second term of the President William Ruto.
So maybe you should tell us, because you guys are in this coalition together. ODM and UDA are in this thing together. That's how you form the broad-based government, or along those lines. So if you are struggling to understand that if the 10-point agenda cannot be realized, which, by the way, you have about a month to then be able to get through that, then many questions are being asked. Why did you get into the thing in the first place? How are you going to ensure that other things will be done in the country? You should actually be the ones telling the rest of the country that this is where we have reached by now, and it should be very indicative of what is going to happen in the future. Or it should let people know that coming together as this government in the first place was a hoodwinking exercise for a lot of the people in this country to imagine that things were going to get better, when in actuality they were going to be at a standstill. And everybody just kind of flocked in with it. Or are you trying to say, which would reference my first question, that what is really happening with this agreement, and whether ODM, in the light of the different fissures that we are seeing, is actually still intact?
No, the president, the Kenya Kwanza and the UDA, at some point maybe on our analysis, maybe they are not sincere on the implementation of the agreement. I think when we saw the COIN committee, or the 10-point committee in Kisumu, we could see the reception from the Kisumu people. They were not happy because there's no way you are going to tell us that you must form a committee on compensation. We have Kenya National Human Rights Commission who could have done that. We should not form a committee to audit our debt. These are the questions we're asking ourselves. We were not to form a committee to implement the NADCO report, which already was already having a committee, which was at Bomas, which was led by Kalonzo Musyoka and Ishungwa. We were not to form a committee to curb corruption and cut the lavish life that the CSS and government officials were having then. So the committee which is there, maybe the ODM may not be in good position today, or the Youth League, to assess, but the committee that is there, from what we are seeing, from what you are reading, from what we are seeing, very little has been done on that 10-point agenda. On the 10 points, they can't show us that this point, this is fully implemented. So these are the things that are putting us in a very awkward situation as a party. Because the young people, who have, I'll say, not only the young people, the ODM party, have been the biggest victim, or the ODMers, have been the biggest victim on the street protest. And if you were to go for the compensation, I think the ODM suffers a lot.
Which street protest?
Even before 2024, we had the Sufuria, if you remember, in 2023. We had the tour, the post-election that is 2022. We had it even on when we had the Jubilee government. So all that compensates, all those the people who have suffered the street brutality have never been compensated. So it was not only on the Gen Z. It's something that runs long, I think, to 2007, if I'm not wrong.
One would ask the question, if you talk about the 10-point agenda, let me just go through them. Full implementation of NADCO report, where are we with that? Inclusivity in governance. One would say there are few members of ODM who found themselves into government. Protect and strengthen devolution. Economic investment in the youth. Uphold integrity in leadership. Safeguard right to peaceful assembly. Audit and reduce national debt. Fight corruption. Raise and manage resources responsibly. Protect sovereignty of the people. If you just look at the 10-point agenda as is and its implementation and you give a scorecard to it, how would you score that? And if all these things have not been met and the deadline is March, how then does ODM remain being in broad-based government? Or does it mean that if the deadline arrives and all these things have not been achieved, ODM, should it get out of broad-based government and plan for 2027? Because it is the last signature of Raila Odinga.
Yes. My brother Seto, where we are, we will never sign. We didn't sign a coalition government agreement. These were working. Baba used to say, and we used to analyze it on we used to tactically compromise for the country. When the 10-point agenda was coming, you remember where we were as a nation. And there's no working relationship. That's why ODM as a party, Junet didn't relinquish his position as the minority leader. Millie Odhiambo didn't is the minority whip in the assembly. We didn't cross the floor. So there's the working agreement is not the parties. We are not in coalition, and that's why today we are asking the party leadership. We are of the thought that we shouldn't sign a pre-election agreement because there's none already existing. And I think from what we are supposed to also touch on was on the existing coalition that we are having. We are in Azimio still because we haven't withdrawn officially. We haven't withdrawn our signatures and our papers are still deposited in the Azimio. So there's no coalition between ODM and UDA.
Is ODM still one party, uniform party?
ODM is one.
It is.
ODM is one party.
Okay, so that's what, our initial question is, what exactly is happening with, is ODM able to clean up house? The things that we see that are coming out into the public in terms of internal wrangles, there's the party positions, inability to have one united front over certain issues. Those are fairy tales or are those a reality?
We're sitting here, I think at some point, the friends of Raila Odinga, the party leader, and even friends of the party. I think let me use a good example maybe from the league where I'm coming from, the Youth League. There's an individual, I think at some point few people have visited it, Kasumako Ureya, who was a friend to the party and a close associate of us. It's not a delegate, for example. It's not a leader in ODM, but purports to be a leader and has been on the media outside there telling people and giving its voice. These are the people at some point we feel bring in unnecessary division. That is one. Number two, the dissenting voices in ODM. This is one of the fabric that has been holding this party together. When SG Sifuna speaks, he was speaking then, even when Raila was here with us. Wanga, the chairperson, was speaking a different voice. This is one of the most democratic party in the country. And to us, as maybe people may see it or analyze it, that this division, they are, I'll say these are people who are seeing things differently on principles, on how things need to be done. But the ODM party is still one single entity, one party, united, though we may not be speaking in unison. Because again, we're not going to think the same in such big, giant political party with over 6 million people in it. So we don't expect people to think the same at the same time.
Answer my question. What is happening in ODM? Is there a problem? There's no uniform front. People are saying different things day to day. Is that because we see the party politics is playing out on the public stage, and you're saying that everything is okay? People are calling for an NDC in order to have. Others have said that the party chair is actually not, rather the party leader is actually not the party leader because he was not selected after an NDC.
People, yeah.
What's going on there?
ODM is not divided.
Okay.
We have dissenting voices from within. Yes.
You have dissenting voices from within.
Yes.
ODM is not divided.
It's not divided.
Okay, we're going to take a break at this point, and then we're going to come back and continue the conversation because optics are a thing. Optics are a thing, and so as we look into that, we'll come back and continue the conversation because Ruth is now here, and we'll talk as we continue that. We'll take a quick look with weather and traffic, and we'll come back and continue the conversation. It's 8:30.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Hey Baba, Olodumare, my one and only, the giver of life.
Everybody telling me to. Everybody telling me to. Well, everybody telling me to.
Go shorty. We gon' party like it's your birthday. Go.
Desperado,
DJ Tatua.
Mami go, Balotelli, ladies to give me food. Mayday.
Mato Sibu.
Shaki Murembo, Samantha.
Joy fresh chicken wings at 459 shillings per kg. Onion red at 79 shillings. Avena vegetable oil 5 liters at 1,085 shillings. And Samsung 55-inch TV at 79,995 shillings. Deals kibao kila wiki na Carrefour.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.
Apparently.
In fact, I think the government is wondering why we keep saying the economy is bad when we all have cars and there's traffic everywhere.
Indeed. Okay, well, I guess you heard the tail end of that conversation before we went on the break.
Yes.
The optics seem to appear that ODM is on the crack. Jared says no.
It's not even
just housekeeping. It's housekeeping. You know, everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
No?
It is not optics.
Okay.
It is what is happening. That ODM as a party is becoming a shell of its former self. And in no time, if they cannot get their act together or bring their act together, what is going to happen to ODM is that ODM will cease to exist. Just like we have seen in the past, very major political parties like KANU, that used to be a giant, no longer being a party. It is there, but it's a shell of its former self. We once had a very vibrant Ford Kenya that no longer exists. We once had a very vibrant ANC that is no longer a political party. We've had very strong LDPs that no longer exist. So if ODM does not watch out, they will repeat history. And all these political parties that I'm talking about somehow had a hand and a touch of the former party leader or the late former party leader of ODM, had a hand in it, in building some of these political parties. So it is a thing of the leadership of the party and the foundation of the party not learning from the past. And what we are witnessing right now is that the mess in ODM, the reality of the fact of the matter is that the mess in ODM is engineered by the president himself. Because he knows that it is only through divide and rule within ODM that ODM will not stand. And once ODM is discombobulated as a party or destroyed from within, I don't know if that is the right word to use, but once the party is disintegrated from within, what will end up happening is that people will be fighting for survival. And in politics, survival is about money. Do I have money to campaign? And again, now what happens at the end of the day becomes that we look and ask ourselves, or the people in ODM, the leaders in ODM will ask themselves, number one, do they have the ground? Do not forget that a majority of ODM leaders, and I'm being very honest, and it is something that has happened while we witness, during elections, a great percentage of ODM leaders who are currently the bigwigs, the loudmouths in ODM, are people who Baba held their hands versus other opponents and told the people, vote for this one, uni wa chama. Many of them used to be given direct certificates. So what is happening is that on the ground, in reality, we must talk about both national and ground politics. In reality, they have real opponents who, minus Baba being in the scene, will wash away their votes. So 2027, what will happen is that once ODM has been disintegrated as a party, these people who have always been held hands and won elections will definitely go with the William Ruto side of things. And that is what is happening in ODM. And William Ruto is counting on ODM to disintegrate so that he can have a strong UDA that has all these members who, at the end of the day, are seeking for survival, joining him and forming one major UDA party.
But Ruth, one would ask the question then.
Yes.
We would want to blame President William Ruto for getting in between ODM. But one would ask the question, ODM has been in existence for 20 years now, right?
Yeah.
And with that, we have party structures. We have individuals who are leading this party. Do we blame William Ruto for breaking ODM, or do we blame ODM members who have failed to stick by the ethos, the vision that brought up ODM?
And that is a very good question. The thing is, we blame both. We blame a non-existent ODM member, or a member who is not a member of ODM, who wants to use the disintegration in ODM for his own benefit, that being the president, who wants to use the lack of the uniting factor in ODM, Raila Odinga, to make the politics about himself. Remember, politics is about survival. But then again, we equally largely blame ODM as a party. The moment the party leader died, or when the party leader ceased to be, when he died, that's the moment they should have said in one voice, regardless of what comes, we are standing together as a party. The moment the party leader died, you could see from the word go, there was already division. Division in the planning of his burial, division in the burial plans, division in the whole conversation around that season that could point to the fact that there are people, like Rigiji likes to say, there are people who are already auctioning the party even before the party leader died. So these are the questions we should ask ourselves. When did ODM start disintegrating? ODM did not start disintegrating when Raila died. ODM started disintegrating the moment Raila allowed them to leave the united opposition, where I come from, DAP, and join the broad-based government and still have 1 foot in, 1 foot outside. Because how many times was Raila telling us, we are still going to field a presidential candidate who said we will not field one, and another side we are hearing them saying, we are in government, we are now here for development and change. So that confusion, and I don't think, nobody foresees death for sure. I don't think Baba, when these decisions were being made, sat down and foresaw that he would not make it to 2027. In my opinion, I think Baba was going to continue playing the politics he has played all his life of being in government and being in opposition. Then, right before the elections, quitting that government, fighting it to his advantage, and running for presidency. I think it was still in Baba's books that 2027 he was going to be on the ballot. Unfortunately, nature took its course, and now the party is confused. And that is what brings me to the question, what are the foundations of these political parties? Is ODM really democratic? I keep asking that question because I have been in ODM myself. I don't see democracy in ODM.
Okay.
I am now in DAP, and I see action because DAP is Democratic Action Party. What do I mean by action? When you say that your political party, the foundation of your political party is democracy, it is fighting for the rights of the people, and yet at the moment when a country is being misruled, when a country is being squandered and corruption is ongoing in a country, you join the very same government that has even led to the loss of people, lives of people. When you're on the streets protesting for the rights of people, then 1 minute later you're in government. do you have a foundation as a party? I would tell you, for example, DAP, which is now in united opposition, like I say, I see action in it. Ours is a social foundation party. Our foundation as a party is socialism, where we talk about rights, we talk about implementation of rights, we talk about equality, we talk about fighting for the implementation of the constitution and the upholding of the same. Now, when you ask me what is DAP doing to ensure that the action in the party's name is being seen. Right now, as we speak, we are in court over the matter of Safaricom. We are now the petitioners in the issue of Safaricom, where Tony Gashoka and Professor Ogola are the petitioners. My party leader is the counsel appearing on behalf of these petitioners who are going against the government on the issue of selling of shares. Adani, we went to court. Action, fighting for the implementation of the constitution.
Okay,
and
so Ruth,
yes,
what you're saying at this point, you see, this if you had come at 8 o'clock, then you would have been able to hear when Jared said earlier that the party still stands on its original agreement. And he takes what they're fighting for, and maybe Jared, you can now, maybe so that Ruth can hear.
Yeah.
He says that the issue here, all these things you guys are seeing is not the problem. No, those are
the problem?
Those are housekeeping issues.
I think
the problem here is that they want to see the implementation of the NADCO report and the 10-point agenda.
Let me report to Ruth.
You want to report to Ruth?
Okay. Report.
I want to report to Ruth. Ruth.
Yes.
You see, when the country was slipping off from from democratically elected leadership, I think Kenya is bigger than our ODM party. Kenya is bigger than the DAP you're talking about that is based in Tanzania. And I'm doubting if we could have allowed the country to creep off power to the street. We couldn't go the Sudan way. We couldn't go to the Somalia way. Kenya comes first before the political parties that we are having. And the ODM had to step up patriotically to save the situation and have the country first before individuals and political parties. ODM is not going to die anytime soon, as you put it. This is the only party with structure. From the polling station, you see your party, as you mentioned it here, we don't know even your constituency or the county leadership. The party that you're saying is dying is having a leadership that is functional from a polling unit. So if maybe the leaders on top here may be disagreeing, the county leadership is intact. The constituency leadership in this country, the ones from the orange zone, are intact. Let me confirm to you, Ruth, here again. The ODM party that you're talking about, the justices, I think we are the party that's for the longest time I've been on the forefront for the justices and compensation and have the Kenyan rights protected, both on the street, in the corridors of justice courts, and everywhere possible. So we haven't left our principles, our political ideological position that we subscribe to during the interception of this party.
Jared, I have a question.
What is that ideology?
Jared, I have a question.
Yes.
When Kenyans went to the streets, I don't call them Gen Zs, I call them Kenyans. When Kenyans went to the street against the Finance Bill 2024 and the overran Parliament, what were they exercising?
It was their sovereign rights.
The sovereign rights.
That is
because
on
the Constitution says sovereignty belongs to the people.
To the people.
And they can exercise that right either directly
or indirectly.
And that the Article 37 gives Kenyans an opportunity and the right to get out there and protest on the streets, right? What makes you think that ODM had the right to go out there to save Kenya?
What were they saving us from?
What were they saving Kenya
The situation
from?
where we were. I think you remember when we were on the street. The situation where we were. It was that the military was to come take over.
The military had not even been deployed.
It had not been deployed.
They were not and that was the show. That was what we were facing.
Can I just interject? You know, I think ODM has for a long period of time had this, God complex in political parties of coming in at a critical time to save an non-existent situation. Like, for example, when Raila Odinga shook hands with Uhuru Kenyatta, what was going on that was so major that led to a country coming together when all they could have done was remain in opposition? The reason why this country is not progressing as it needs to progress is people are not respecting where they ought to be. And by people, I mean political parties like ODM. You lost an election in 2022. Why I left ODM after we lost elections was because I knew Baba very well. Baba never lost an election and let it go. He would lose an election and make sure he joins the government of the day. He already had a history of doing that way back from the first administration of Uhuru Kenyatta to the second, to even Kibaki's time, to Ruto's time. I knew he would join the government. And I respect political processes in the sense that if we have lost elections, it is our duty as the opposition to keep government in check. This business of people losing elections and realizing that we cannot be in the cold because for some reason being in the cold means you're not going to make money. ODM is a very selfish party. If they remained in the united opposition right now, this government would be on its toes working because ODM, we will not lie that ODM is not a big party. It's the biggest party for sure. After UDA, it's the second largest party. But also, we are also not going to wash away statements like what my brother here is saying my party is a village party based in Trans Nzoia or a party based in Trans Nzoia. We are the fifth largest political party. And one thing you should know, we are IEBC, we are the fifth largest political party. Yes, with those 5 MPs, but must you note that this is a party that became fifth largest after being launched 8 months to the elections. And right now, I will tell you, in Western region, DAP is the only party left. We don't have ANC, we don't have Ford Kenya. Meaning in the 2027 elections, with the nonsense that is going on in ODM, DAP is going to be a party to watch out for. Watch out for in what sense? Remember political parties in Kenya, in as much as they're supposed to be vehicles to fight for change, they are also regional-based political parties. And right now, ODM, if continues going the way it is going like this, it is going to remain a Luo Nyanza political party that is not representative across the country. Because remember, Joho is moving with his own people, Osotsis are moving around with their own people. So now us as DAP, we are going to sweep all those MPs from Western.
Jared, you see that?
Yes.
What's up?
Yes, I think we need to have records clear. And we also need to let Kenyans know what is in our 2010 constitution. I think after 2010 constitution, we don't have opposition. We have minority and majorities. And we have institutions that need to check each other. We expect the government to check the executive arm of government. We expect the judiciary to do their work. We're not expecting the political parties to be the checkers in our 2010 constitution.
So if that's
what is the role of political parties then?
Hang on. If that's the case, from what you're saying, and if ODM understands that, then why join a coalition? Yeah. If because this 10-point agenda has nothing except checking the government, why join a coalition if the job and responsibility, as you've so clearly stated, of political parties is not to check government or to check excesses of the executive? Why get into a coalition?
Just
you go ahead, do your
own
politics.
2010 constitution, we don't have the opposition. It is the minority and majority.
But what is the role of the minority?
We have the government, one government, but we expect the institutions to check each other. We expect the legislature to oversee and check.
Jared, you're lying to us because
I'm not lying.
Allow me to ask the question so we can be clear. Jared, you've just said it is not the job of political parties to check the executive or to check excesses of government, right? So, When you have an agreement, which is now popularly known as the broad-based government, which essentially brought two political parties together to do the very thing that you have just said it is not their role to do. If ODM, independent in form as a political party, is truly that, uniform, all those words that you've used, why agree? Why join this broad-based government?
The coalitions, I think...
No.
No,
why
tell us why.
join the broad-based government? Why join?
Any political party, all political parties, including our political party, DAPK, are formed to capture state power. I'm answering that.
What we're going to do is answer this question on why then ODM joined the broad-based, not DAP or Dennis Tall Party, ODM, who is in the broad-based government today. If political parties' work is not to do the things that you've said, check the executive, check the excesses of government, why join a broad-based government? Why? I'm going somewhere with this. And if you don't know, that could be the very basis of our problems now.
The reason why ODM joined the broad-based government, I think this followed, this came after the 2023 protest. That we had before. No, 2023. First.
2023, yeah.
The
first one. Okay.
The Sufuria ones.
Yeah, the NADCO that was in Bomas. Okay. And there were agreements which were submitted after the talks at Bomas, which was led by the majority leader and then...
even DAP was part of
DAP,
it,
yeah.
Wiper.
We had Wiper.
Yeah.
It was Steve Kalonzo Musyoka and the majority leader, Kimani Ichung'wah. That was the beginning of this. And then the Gen Z came, which
why?
I'll say... See, I'm answering the question.
Yes.
Okay. Then the Gen Z came, which catalyzed the situation on why the NADCO report. And that's why on the first point, on the broad-based, the 10 point, was the implementation of the
Okay,
NADCO
so one thing that we're going
into the
we're going to come to Ruth's question.
Yes.
One thing we cannot do is propagate something that's not true.
Yeah.
The Gen Z did not go to the street
For
with
NADCO.
any kind of connection to NADCO.
They did not.
I'm saying, when the Gen Zs went to the street, this catalyzed the situation that was there in 2023.
No. Can I respond?
Jared,
Can I just
in
respond?
2024,
yes,
the Gen Zs went to the street
for
because
finance bill.
of the finance bill.
Nothing to do with NADCO report.
Nothing to do with NADCO.
And by the way,
ODM got into broad-based government 2023 based off the 10-point agenda that they agreed upon among the issues that they wanted to be handled. One asks the question,
why?
If the legislature can check the government, because you say we don't have opposition and we don't have government. If the legislature can check the government, one asks the question then, Ruth, could ODM check government excesses outside government through the legislature?
And let me answer that question. Let me answer that question. When ODM joined government, and I keep saying it was for very selfish reasons, because the NADCO report had already been instituted. And I remember when they joined, in fact, they rookered us in Azimio. We were left in Azimio, a shell of our own. We were left with Wiper, we were left with DAP, we were left with Martha Karua's party. And that's when we said, we are now going to stand alone. If ODM has decided, the oppressor who has led us to have this NADCO report, we are joining them, then us, we are not going to join them. Because what is the point of being, as you said, there is no opposition in the constitution, but neither is there minority in the constitution. Neither is there media as a fourth estate in the constitution. Neither do we say that human rights organizations are meant to check government. Everybody should know once there is government and you are not part of that government, your duty is to check that government. And I will always insist, the late Raila Odinga, for very many times and very many situations, proved to us that political negotiations for him were never about the people. How many times, even the handshake, you remember during the handshake, there were some of his partners who were caught unawares. Suddenly they think we are going to declare Raila as this. Next thing they hear, Raila has shaken hands with Uhuru. Same thing again with this joining broad-based government. We were left in the cold. Let me tell you, I was there. I had already joined DAP and I already knew Baba would join the government. We were left in the cold. My political party leaders, they tried to beg this man and tell him, you cannot join these people because he's the same oppressor. And that's why 2024 happened, because once you realize you have numbers, you're a great political party, you're one of the largest political parties, you should take it upon yourself as a responsibility and a duty, being in opposition, to check government. And that's why Gen Zs went to the streets, because the very person who used to speak for them. Remember when the protests began, what did Gen Z say? Raila sahi anakula na serikali. We would not even be where we are today. How many times did the young people say during the protest that Baba sahi tungekuwa yendi anatuandolia hii maandamano? And I know what ODM likes to say. They like to put this statement of, kwani you people think that the country is supposed to be carried on the back of Raila Odinga. No, it's a duty, it's a responsibility. It's what you've put yourself into by telling us that, you know, you are a national leader. It's just like myself. Let's say, for example, if I want to vie for Nairobi Women Representative, which I might consider vying for. Yeah, if I want to vie for Nairobi Women Representative, and then let's say I am now in opposition like I am right now, then William Ruto approaches me with a good deal, and I have already mobilized my people. We are already fighting against government. My people know that we are keeping the government in check. Then one day they approach me with a check of 10 billion. They tell me, come and join UDA, and then I join and I leave my people. Haven't I betrayed my people? Haven't they placed a trust in me that they know Ruth will always fight for us? They know that Ruth's voice is heard when she speaks against the excesses of government and the regime of the day. Then suddenly I join government. What will that do to my people? They will lose faith and hope, and they will take it upon themselves to go to the streets if I was their voice of representation. So I genuinely blame ODM for what happened to the Gen Zs. I'm putting it on record today.
Oh, wow.
I blame ODM for what happened to the Gen Zs, because if ODM had held its political bargaining power of keeping the government in check, we would not have young people going to the streets. A majority of those ODM MPs would not have passed that particular finance bill, because the finance bill overwhelmed us as a people, because all of them voted for it after having joined government. True or false? Yeah, we would not be on the streets. That's the reality.
Jared?
Yes.
From the position that ODM sits in today, that we know, okay, I do know the role of political parties in a government. What would be the role of a political party when it comes to the national politics of the day, number one? Number two, it would appear as though the role that ODM is playing at the moment it's kind of, everybody's on tenterhooks in terms of what's happening. Ruth believes that the disintegration of ODM is a design by the executive today. Would you agree?
I think first I'm agreeing with my sister Ruth, and following even now the confirmation that we had from the SG of the party.
You're agreeing that the disintegration of the party, now you've agreed that there's a disintegration of the party?
There's something I'm...
okay.
Give me chance I respond.
Okay, go.
Give me chance I
Go.
respond. I'm agreeing with my sister Ruth, because again, we have been having, I'll say, the party activities run across. I think we have had around 5 public consultative meetings. But again, if you come to our party coffers, we don't we haven't received our finances from the political parties fund, which is unfortunate. But we are seeing activities running around, which of course we're also asking, even if there's a philanthropist, political philanthropist that is coming in, maybe to finance the ODM activities. What's their end game, and why is the government of the day still holding the political parties fund? And ODM being one of the biggest party, lacking all that, I think around 12 billion is a serious issue to us. Number two, I think on the same, I'm also agreeing with my sister. Where we are as a political party, ODM. Now, when she have invoked Raila Amolo Odinga's name, I think, many times in his absence, which is okay. I was a national leader, and we agree. Where we are, there are aunts from outside, external aunts, yes, who are also interested so much in seeing a weaker ODM party. And that's why, before Ruth came in, that we now from the ODM Youth League, we are saying, why can't you give us a chance? And again, what is barring ODM as a political party from fielding a presidential candidate? What is barring ODM as a political party from having a post-election agreement with either of them, of the parties that will form the government? What is barring this ODM party from just running alone in 2027? When you asked me on the roles of the political parties in Kenya, I think it must come out very clear. And from the party where I'm coming from, parties are not, I'll say, not NGOs to run outside there. They're all formed to capture state power. And I think ODM is not exceptional on the same. And there's nothing, again, I think since 2007, it is the only ODM party that ran successfully as a single political entity, which, of course, again, we didn't manage to capture the state power. From 2013, we had the code coalition, if you can remember. Then 2017 we had NASA. 2022 we had NASA, and then 2022 we had Azimio. There's nothing again, including from the side where Ruth is coming from, where they are trying to form the alternative opposition or alternative coalition. The single political parties may not be in good position today to be part or to form a government as a single party. And that's why people or political parties today do come together to form alliances and coalitions.
Okay, let me ask this simply, because our time is running out. Do you think that there's a problem within ODM that is being orchestrated by somebody externally?
I don't just think, I believe.
Okay.
You've accepted.
You've accepted.
Yes.
So there's a problem within ODM, and you've agreed with Ruth that it's being handled by somebody who's not in ODM.
In my last statement, if I'm sure you were keen and...
I tried to be,
yes. There are those who are interested. As we are sitting here, I'll tell you. Let me also put this clear to our listeners and our viewers and the young people. We have an event going on at KICC, organized by one of the party friends, which of course not even sanctioned by the party secretariat, that is the party headquarters at Chungwa House. So these are the tough questions that we are asking from the youth league position. Why should such people be sanctioned and call for disciplinary actions? Because again, if a party like ODM was to hold any event, it must be sanctioned from the leadership, both political leadership led today by Dr. Buro Gingodinga, and maybe the secretariat led by by Dr. Durongwen. So that's where we are today. There are external forces who are interested in having a weaker ODM. We, the ODM Party Youth League members and leaders and delegates, we will not allow them. The only legacy that we are going to give Raila Amolo Odinga is having a stronger ODM protected beyond its legacies.
And that's all we have time for this morning, because it's now 9 a.m. Ruth Ambo, thank you for coming this morning.
I'd love to see him become a youth league leader in ODM. He would fight for the party.
Lawyer and political strategist is who she is. Jared Oye is a part of the ODM Youth League. Thank you both for being here with us this morning. Good morning. It's 9 a.m.
The latest news from This is the Situation Room.